Dear fellas, I can't believe how fast things move on the outside. I saw an automobile once when I was a kid, but now they're everywhere. The world went and got itself in a big damn hurry. The parole board got me into this halfway house called the Brewer, and a job bagging groceries at the foodway. It's hard work. I try to keep up, but my hands hurt most of the time.
Make sure your man double bags. Last time he didn't double bag and the bottom near came out.
Make sure you double bag like the lady says, understand?
Yes, sir. Surely will. I don't think the store manager likes me very much. Sometimes after work, I go to the park and feed the birds. I keep thinking Jake might just show up and say hello, but he never does. I hope wherever he is, he's doing okay and making new friends. I have trouble sleeping at night. I have bad dreams like I'm falling. I wake up scared. Sometimes it takes me a while to remember where I am. Maybe I should get me a gun and rob the foodway so they'd send me home. I could shoot the manager while I was at it, sort of like a bonus. I guess I'm too old for that sort of nonsense anymore. I don't like it here. I'm tired of being afraid all the time. I've decided not to stay. I doubt they'll kick up any fuss. Not for an old crook like me.
Sad. Well, yeah, very good movie. Mm-hmm. Very intense scene. Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. So basically what he was experiencing, besides all the other symptoms and stuff like that, you know, it's interesting how they're alluding to a lot, like, mm-hmm. you know, kind of Alzheimer's and mm-hmm. arthritis and stuff mm-hmm. like that. Like he didn't understand what was happening to him, different mm-hmm. things of that sort. But, you know, he was institutionalized. You know what I mean? Like, you know, really couldn't see life any other way than he had lived his life previously, mm-hmm. which is interesting, was in a prison, like was in a cell. Right. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And he had become so ingrained in that way of living that, to be honest, he rather self-harm himself rather than have to change. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And live this, you know, live in this new world that's mm-hmm. scary. Mm-hmm. That's hard to understand. Yeah. That you feel alone in. Mm-hmm. Right. And so, yeah, it's super, super sad. But the reason why I was thinking about this particular seen is kind of, because it kind of dawned on me when I'm having conversations with Christians about the church and why there seems to be, in a lot of senses, so much animosity towards the perspective that we're bringing. Not to say that we're the only ones bringing this perspective, but the perspective of like, you know, the church is not a building, or we don't go to church, we gather as a church. Like these things that don't necessarily seem very radical, why it's causing the reaction that it actually causes with people. And what dawned on me is that I think people are institutionalized.
Yes.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I think Christians today are so ingrained into church as we know it, that to think of it in any other way is scary, concerning, stressful, right? But yeah, we're institutionalized.
Yeah. That's good. That's real good.
You know what I mean? You know, and the difficult part for people like us is like, and we're going to do a video on this at some point, you know, just like returning back into the organized church, like, can we do it and what would that look like and stuff like that. But when you unsee it, when you see it, you can't unsee it.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Like when you realize it, you just can't go back. But to get there, it's a difficult thing.
Yeah.
Like we're asking, and by we asking, I'm not saying like, you know, we're literally, I'm saying like when we're asking people to consider that the scriptures may speak about church in a way that's different than we actually do it here. When we speak about that with people who have been engaging this and have benefited from this, or whether it's right or wrong, this has become their existence.
Yeah.
We're asking people to embrace something that's really become a part of who they are, right or wrong. Just like you know, Brooks, from the movie. You know what I mean? Like he had been in prison so long, a place that you wouldn't want to spend the rest of your life.
Right.
He's now fantasizing about going back to it because what it takes for me to live in this new world that I don't know anything about.
Yeah.
Is all it inhabits all types of feelings. It's terrifying. It's, you see what I'm saying?
Right,
and I almost rather go back. Well, not even almost. I rather go back to what was previously there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't know. You understand what I'm saying? Like I'd rather go back there because at least I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that.
Right. You know, it's almost like the children of Israel, right? Like when God freed them from, you know, when he delivered them from, you know, Pharaoh in Egypt, you know, they're out in the wilderness and they're like, listen, we should go back. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we need to double back. You know, like I could probably rent the same place I was renting down there on Pharaoh Ave. And I was like, we need to go back. Why? You know, at least we knew we have food every day. At least this whole different way of looking at life, slavery almost seems better. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or the invalid, the guy who's, you know, for 38 years, he was in that specific place and Jesus asked him, like, do you want to be well? And it's like, sometimes the cost to be well is greater than the price that we want to pay for that, right? Like I'd have to get used to a whole different life if I leave the Solomon's Colonnade. Like if I leave this place, then I'd have to engage in life a totally different way. And it just dawned on me, like, I think we're institutionalized. I think we're so ingrained in thinking of church a certain way that to think of something different is paralyzing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's jolting. It's fearful.
Right.
You know what I mean? And not only that, that would mean that I need to live a different way.
Right.
That I can't depend on people to give me what I need. I mean, I can't depend on people to give me what I need. I actually have to go get what I need. Or you mean to tell me I have to follow Jesus? You see what I'm saying? Like, or you mean to tell me I have to read the scriptures, right? Or you mean to tell me like, no,
I have to feed myself.
You see,
like that saying, I'm gonna go get fed.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I have to feed myself.
Absolutely, right? And so, yeah, I think we're institutionalized. So I looked up a few things just in terms of being institutionalized, and then I'm just going to substitute kind of church there. And I just think it's real. I think it's so true. You know what I mean? So being institutionalized often refers to the psychological and social effects of living within an environment for a long time, right? And it could lead to several outcomes, right? Adjustment to church life. Long-term church members or long-term individuals that are part of the church can become so accustomed to the routines, doctrines, and social dynamics of the church that they find it challenging to engage with the broader community or adapt to life outside the church's structured environment, right? So you can be so ingrained in it where it could be challenging to exist outside of that persona. And I hear this conversation so much when I have it, like, well, then what do I do? What do we do?
Right.
Yeah, I understand. The institutional church is not the way to go. Then what do I do? You see what I'm saying? Like what am I supposed to do? Right. Because it's challenging now to find life outside of that.
Right.
Like it was easy to make friends because you can go to church and meet 200 people.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, and now it's like, you mean to tell me I got to engage a person at Starbucks? Or you mean to tell me I got to engage? Like it's challenging to exist outside of that, right? So the adjustment, right, to life for a Christian outside of the institutional church, it's difficult. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, autonomy, right? Over time, individuals may rely heavily on church leadership for decision-making and guidance, losing the ability to think independently or act on their own beliefs and values. This is what we're experiencing now. You see what I'm saying? I mean, think about this. Relying heavily on church leadership for decision-making and guidance. Like you have people who will go see their pastor before they even pray.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
Right? Losing the ability to think independently. This is absolutely true. You know what I'm saying? Like, even when it comes to the herd mentality that we're experiencing in the church today, where people just think alike because the group thinks this way, right? But yeah, people have lost the ability to really even think independently or act on their own beliefs and values. Again, it's something that somebody has identified for us, and so it's easier to live into that.
Yeah.
That's part of being institutionalized.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Mental health issues. Prolonged immersion in rigid church culture can contribute to mental health challenges, including anxiety and depression. The pressure to conform to certain expectations can exacerbate feelings of isolation and inadequacy. Like, mental issues, truthfully, when I left the institutional church, it affected my psyche. 1 second here. Okay. When I left the institutional church, it affected my psyche, my mental health, right? Because again, you're so used to this microphone about to get beat down. You know what I mean? Like, it affected my psyche, right? Like it almost felt like I didn't have a tribe anymore.
Yeah.
A home. I felt isolated. What's wrong with you? What you laughing at?
These kids, can you hear them?
Yeah, they up here making police sounds and all kind of stuff. Our oldest is the master of
noise maker. What do they call it when they impersonating?
Yeah, impersonating sounds and stuff like that. Went in there one day, he made a lawn blower, and he in there blowing the ground. I'm like, what are we talking about? He's like, I can't wait to get older so that I can blow the grass. I'm like, I can't wait till you get older too.
Okay.
You are not going to have an issue there for me. But yeah, being institutionalized can lead to mental health issues, right? Because we're so used to being in community fellowship with others in a certain way, whether it's for our good or not, that, it can lead to isolation, anxiety, and different things of that sort.
Yeah.
Right? Which is why that scene so captured the reality of that.
Right.
You know? Identity changes. Some individuals may begin to identify more as members of the church than as individuals with diverse interests, identities, which can impact their self-perception and how they relate to those outside of the church, right? So people can see their identity as the church in opposed to being the church.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, this is everything that we're kind of talking about, right? Like, you know, again, being a part of the institutional church malforms the Christian identity and begins to think that I don't exist as a Christian outside of that. That if I don't go to church, I'm not the church.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, you know, it has forced an identity change. And again, when you consider what that is, if you leave it, man, that it leads to all types of identity crisis, right? You know, am I really a Christian?
Right. Yes.
You know, do I really follow Jesus if I'm not going to church? Right. And lastly, fear of change. After being deeply integrated into church culture for many years, some may experience a fear and anxiety about engaging with different perspectives or changing their beliefs, or making personal growth and exploration difficult. You see what I'm saying? Like you're so used to believing things and seeing things done a certain way, or you're so used to hearing things being done a certain way, or certain doctrines or perspectives. Changing that can be extremely difficult.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's pressure to conform outside of that. There's pressure to conform while you're in it. And when you're outside of it, you find it difficult. You know what I mean? Like you just find it difficult, right? To engage in a change of belief or engage in a new way of seeing things, right? Making it difficult for you to grow and to explore different avenues, right? This is why, like, for me, like I had to detox. Like, and this is going to sound crazy for some people, man, for about a year or two, to be honest with you, like it was hard for me to read the Bible. Like I couldn't read. I couldn't read the Bible because I was so used to thinking a certain way that every time I picked it up and opened it, I was thinking in that line. It was easier for me to meditate on scripture rather than to read it because I could not get out of this way of thinking.
Yeah.
I had to detox my mind. I had to really learn how to look at scripture with fresh eyes.
Yeah. I remember when you had, because you're a man of, you have like 1,000 books. You have tons of books. And it was like so important, like when we would move or something like that, it was very important that you had bookcases for that. And that was, you know, but then when it was like, you know, I need to leave these books alone for a minute. You know what I'm saying? I need to just let my mind rest. I remember you saying that. Yep,
exactly. And that was part of it. Like I just could not see. There comes a time too where as you mature, you can't hold on to other people's beliefs.
Yeah,
you just can't.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, and you know, when you come to a crisis of faith and you start when your faith, when the rubber meets the road, when it comes to your faith and you got to, you know, like make certain decisions and choices, you're like, okay, is this real to me? Like, do I really believe this? Like, you know, you know, and so you can't live off other people's words. Right. And that was part of it too. It was just like, listen, what do I believe? Like, what is it that I believe? What does the scripture really say? Not what I've been taught about the scriptures, not what I've been encouraged by this group mentality. Like, what is it really that the scriptures teach? You know, and that's where it was just like, I need to quiet the voices in my head.
Yeah.
I need to quiet the voices. I can't tell if I'm quoting somebody else or I'm quoting myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know where their words end and my words begin. And I had to detox. I just had to detox. And for a long time, I could not read the Bible and feel like I was getting life out of it. Like I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop studying it, like in terms of like seeing it as a textbook. You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't stop looking at it through the eyes of a preacher, where it's like, oh, that'll preach, in opposed to I need to hear it. You understand what I'm saying? Like I had to detox from it, right? In order to really, begin to change and see things a different way. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so, but anyway, it just dawned on me. Like, I feel like, a large part of the church today has been institutionalized. And what people are fighting is what we're fighting against, I guess, in certain senses, in terms of the conversations that we're having with people who may not agree with how we're moving. I think a large part of that is when you're inside of something and you've been a part of something for so long, and something that could have been extremely helpful to you. Like, I don't even deny that the church, in the way that we used to see it, like, it didn't help me. It in part created who I am, which is a good thing. Like it there was parts of that were great. Yeah. I understand how difficult it is, right? When you dedicate your life to something, or you see things a certain way, you've invested so much in it, to then have to change is a very difficult thing. But we have to realize that we've been discipled into a certain perspective, and to a large degree, we've been institutionalized in how we think about the church. And this is why it's so difficult to change. Yeah. And then this is also why, in my opinion, you'll see people who are brilliant in their thinking. And I just wonder why sometimes, like, why why won't they think, like, they will exegete the text so perfectly on something. They'll exegete the text so perfectly on, I don't know, let's just say, sin and all of this type stuff, right? But then they'll turn around and talk about the church like it's a institution. And I'm like, knowing that the scripture doesn't talk about the church that way, like knowing that the scripture does not refer to the church as a building. Right. Yeah. But this learned individual, they will speak as if the church is that. And I'm like, how can you be an exegete over here, but not an exegete over here? Right. It's because we're institutionalized. We've been taught to think of this in a certain way, and so we filter everything through that. We don't even know we're being biased. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't even know that we're being biased. And so anyway, I just thought it was interesting as I was thinking about, that scene in that movie. And like, one, it just, it always shows me, like, we need to have grace. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, people, it's easy to tell people or to show people and then expect people to behave in a certain way. But, we got to be patient. Yeah. And love people where they are. You know what I'm saying? And people are wrestling with some very big questions. Yeah. Your whole life changes. Right. You know what I mean? And that could be a difficult thing. But then also, it just helped to kind of give some answers to what I think, we're experiencing today, and what I know I was caught up in, because everything expressed there was the things that I was feeling. I just didn't know that was the case. Right. Right. You know what I mean? And that was the reason why, you know what I mean? Yeah, absolutely. So, but anyway.
Well, that was good. That was good. I love how you, let me just tell y'all, he didn't even tell me anything that we were going to talk about. He didn't even tell me he asked me, did I remember this guy in the movie? And I didn't. I kept saying Morgan Freeman. And then even when he was like, no, not Morgan Freeman, and he would tell me, a different guy, and I'd be like, in my mind, I'm still thinking Morgan Freeman. So anyways, it was good that I love the way you tied that in, and it just put it in a different perspective, because that's the type of person I am. Like, I need to see things first, you know what I mean? And then I'm like, you know what I mean? So that was good.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Appreciate it. I hope we'll be able to play the scene.
I know. I was thinking about that. But I mean, come on. I mean, it was very, it's very, to me, I mean, I can't say it's PG, but it's very, you know what I mean, basic. There's worse. I've seen worse. And,
I'm just thinking of like just copyright in terms of, will they copyright strike it because it's their movie. You know what I mean? You know, stuff like that. But, you know, it is what it is. You know?
Yeah.
It's not like.
But it's interesting because you got the clip off YouTube.
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that channel has that clip monetized.
Oh, gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? You know, so, but it doesn't really make a difference. It's not like that's a whole nother thing. Cause I'm not even gonna get into the YouTube money thing. You know, I don't know.
Hopefully this gets played.
Yep. And so, yeah, thank you for tuning in. Love to hear your comments. Drop a comment below. Yeah, you know, I would just love to hear your thoughts. You know, thank you guys for tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe to the channel. Drop a comment below. Talk to you soon. God bless.
Good night.